Pranam to all, Hare Krishna. So thank you once again for taking out your time on Sunday morning to continue our discussion of chapter 2. So let us start our day with prayers to Shri Shri Radha Govinda and our Guru Parampara and continue our discussion. Right? Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gatamayam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Cha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Guru Maharaj ki Jai Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Hope the voice is audible, screen is visible. All well?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you very much. Let us continue our discussion today. Yes, so last session we did about 20 slokas in chapter 2. So let us have some quick review of key points what we discussed and then we can move further. So can somebody come forward and give some key points what we discussed from last chapter?
Prabhuji, I'll do that.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji, please.
So at the end of chapter 1, Arjuna was still confused and he was giving reasons for not to fight. Even in the beginning of chapter 2, he says things like it is better to live begging than at the cost of great souls like his teachers and his grandfather and his family. He also feels he's confused as to what is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. He tells Krishna that I'm very confused about my duty. I don't know what to do, and hence I surrender to you. So please instruct me. So that's where he just puts his arms down and he surrenders to Krishna and he falls silent. Krishna patiently listens to all his reasons and he listens to why Arjuna is confused and he's giving up. But he also says, he starts off by saying something very interesting. He says, while Arjuna, you're saying such learned words, you're mourning for something that is not really worthy. And he also says that you're talking about great people and your teachers but they are nothing but souls. And like souls pass through life, from boyhood to youth to old age, they also pass away and they go into another body at death. Happiness and distress also are non-permanent. They come, they go, and you cannot hold on to something and keep there. So understand that the soul is indestructible, and be like a learned man that you are. Remember your own teachings. I think that's what I kind of got from the first courage.
Beautifully explained, Mataji. I think you have covered all the most very key points from our previous discussion. So, when Arjuna surrendered, when Arjuna was completely bewildered, what he did is to surrender to Krishna, accept Krishna as the spiritual master and surrendering to Krishna, right? That is exactly what we need to do. Whenever we are completely bewildered in these material entanglements, we need to surrender to the spiritual master and seek his guidance. So this is one of the key takeaway. And then, as you rightly said, Krishna start speaking about the soul, that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. All the difficulties what is going through is for the body, not for the soul. And this situation, whatever we are going through, it is like summer, it is like a weather, it is summer and winter. It will be there and it will go on. So whatever is going through is for the body. But we need to understand that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. Next 5 to 10 minutes of discussion is very, very important. I request you all to make a note and then think through that very deeply and try to implement in your life. Yeah. So first thing what we understood is all the difficult situation we are going through is for the body, not for the soul. And we also discussed an analogy where a person is drowning in a water. This body is like a cloth. What is the point of saving this cloth? When this body is there in this material world, it is expected to go through various difficulties. That is why this material world is known as Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. In turn, what we are trying to do is trying to get the best out of this difficult situation. I will touch upon that as we progress with our discussion. So we ended our discussion with a beautiful sloka from chapter 15, sloka 7. Mamai vamsa jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana manasastrani indriyani prakriti stani karshati. So what it says, Krishna is saying that we are all, the living entities are the part and parcel of Krishna. Yeah, but because of our conditioning, we to the material world, we are struggling with our six senses, which is including mind. So what is the reason for our struggle? Everybody sitting here, not only in this, everybody in this material world are going through some or the other struggle. What is the two key reasons for this struggle? Can somebody say?
We are not praying for Krishna.
We are not
Praying for Krishna.
praying for Krishna. Okay. See,
Due to our desires.
Yes, Mataji.
It is purely due to our desires and desires which grow every day in our life.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
if we are working for Krishna, these desires won't be there,
Yes.
and
See now,
expectations from the world will be less.
yes. Now, to be more specific, the desire for our sense enjoyment, the desire for our material attachments. If you have the desire to serve Krishna, you will be blissful. Desire is a very important word. If you desire to enjoy material world, you will suffer. If you desire to serve Krishna and his devotees, then you will break free from this struggle. So the two important thing is our uncontrolled sense enjoyments. We are all struggling, we are all living like animals to satisfy our tongue, our belly, and our genitals. If we can regulate this sense enjoyment, that is when we will start gradually rising above these material entanglements. At the same time, the second important thing is our material attachments. Our name, fame, family, our bodily health conditions. We are too attached to it. Until and unless we are not able to rise above these things, we will continue to struggle. And without knowledge, with our ignorance, we will continue to curse Krishna that why I am going through all these things. Many don't even understand that they are struggling. Everybody want to enjoy. Everybody want to be happy in this material world. At least we are fortunate soul by the mercy of Guru Parampara and devotee. Somehow or the other we have come to this Krishna consciousness movement. We are trying to learn from our scriptures. There are billions of people out there. They don't even understand that they are struggling. They are entangled, entrapped in this material world. What they are trying to do is to get the best out of this situation. As we discussed, this is Dukkhalayam. We are entrapped in a jail. And what we are trying to do, like VIP criminals, trying to get the best facility within the jail. We have to, the purpose of this birth, the purpose of this human body is to purify our this desire to enjoy and engage in the service of the Supreme Lord and break free. Till the time we continue to have this material attachment, till the time we continue to have this sense gratification propensity, we will continue to fall to the greatest danger. Now, what is the greatest danger? What is the greatest danger for all of us? Can somebody say?
Reborn in this world again.
Reborn.
Falling into the cycle of birth and death. Sir.
Yes. So we are struggling in the cycle of birth and death. The greatest danger is to further fall down from our to the animal kingdoms. There's a greatest danger. The only way to break free from this material entanglement is human body, and how you use this human body to break free. You can't do devotional service. We all know now that doing devotional service is the only way to break free. You can't do devotional service in the body of a dog or a cat or a pig. That is why Krishna says in chapter 2, shloka 40, Neha Bikramanasosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpa api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bayat. What is the meaning of this? Swalpa api asya dharmasya, little devotional service you do, you will overcome the greatest danger of falling down to animal kingdom. You will take rebirth as a human in a aristocratic family or a Brahmana family or the kind of devotional service you have engaged. You may even take a birth in a Vaishnava family. From there you can continue. So that is the importance of doing devotional service. And while doing devotional service, what should be our mood? There is a beautiful sloka which defines what is bhakti. Can I ask what is bhakti as per you? What is bhakti? If you have heard anything, learned anything, what is the meaning of bhakti? What should be the mood of bhakti?
Completely surrendering to Krishna.
Yes. Right, Mataji. So how do we surrender to Krishna? When we are surrendering to Krishna, what should be our mood? Nectar of Devotion, sloka, first sloka, it says, Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulasya krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttamam. So what it says is Anya bilashita shunyam. We should not have any desire, any material desire when we are engaging, when you are approaching the Supreme Lord, whatever we have to go through, whatever we are going through is our karmic reactions. We are purifying through this. I was hearing to one very senior Vaishnava, a Hindi lecture. I hope everybody understand Hindi. He says, the difficulties what we are going through, paap katta hai. Whatever difficulties we are going through, it cuts all our sinful reactions. At the same time, whatever happiness we are going through in our situation, it decreases our pious activities. So you can deeply try to meditate on this statement. I'm not exactly getting that Hindi line what he says. So the mood is, whenever we are going through our difficult situation in our life, whatever it could be, it is decreasing our sinful reactions what we have done. So don't get bewildered, perturbed with the difficult situation. You need to be grateful that you deserve even worse than that. But it is purely by the mercy of Krishna, whatever you are going through. And second mood is, it is like passing cloud in your life. You will overcome this situation by the mercy of Krishna. You have to hold on to Krishna very tightly. And then we understood, when we are doing bhakti, anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavrutam anukulasya Krishna anushilanam. In favorable mood, you have to remember Krishna. Even Kamsa was remembering Krishna all the time. Even Shishupal was remembering Krishna all the time. Is that bhakti? No. In a favorable mood, in a service mood, we should remember Krishna. Now, a very important thing, as you are progressing well in Krishna consciousness, you have completed your level 1, now you are in level 2. The forces of Maya will be even more stronger. When somebody is trying to break free from this jail, what does the jailer do? He will deploy few more policemen to keep an eye on this particular person who is trying to break free from this jail, isn't it? That is why Krishna says in chapter 7, sloka 14, Devi Isha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante Mayam Eva Tarantite. So Krishna himself is telling, my divine energy, consisting of 3 modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. On your own, you cannot break free from the forces clutches of Maya. What is the way out? Krishna says, the devotees who are surrendered unto me and engaged in devotional service, they can easily break free from these clutches of Maya. Yeah. So knowing about this, very, very seldom, very few can do this. Everybody are so conditioned in our material entanglement, sense enjoying propensity, we cannot rise above this. That is why Krishna says in chapter 7, sloka 19, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabham. Today, Sunday, you all had choice to sleep till 10 o'clock or go out on shopping or go out for some long drives. But you all have chosen to spend this 1 hour listening about Krishna and the knowledge we get from Bhagavad Gita. Such Mahatmas are Sudurlabham. You are all very rarest of rare souls. But having come this far, the focus of Maya on you is going to be very strong. The only way for you to overcome this is, we discussed about ABCD of Bhakti. Association of devotees, reading Prabhupada books, chanting the holy names, diet, honoring prasad or deity worship. You all have to put your endeavors to consciously, consistently rise in these 4 aspects. The stagnant water stinks. So you should not be that stagnant water. Somehow, by the mercy of Guru Parampara, as I've said, by the mercy of Krishna, we have come into this movement. And we have just taken an admission in the babysitting in the nursery. Now, in level 1, the babysitting is done. Now we have come to the pre-nursery. We have to gradually rise and reach PhD level in this lifetime. There are many people who continue to procrastinate, thinking there is always tomorrow. In spiritual progress, you need to have that urgency because nobody has seen tomorrow. There is no guarantee I am going to take class tomorrow at 7:30. Isn't it? So we have to rise very in our seriousness. How many of you have heard about the story of Ajamila? Hare Krishna. It's a very popular story. Can you just briefly say in 1 minute what is the essence of that? Darshini Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Actually, he remembers, he would have forgotten the divinity and had gone to all wrong deeds. And at the time of the death, he calls his son's name Narayana, which helped him to go to Vaikuntha.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji.
Just briefly, I have told you. The details
Yes.
are,
Yes, Mataji,
everybody
because
knows.
most of the participants, I believe, they already know about this. So why I brought this thing is the power of holy name. Even Ajamila did not call out to Krishna or Narayana. He was just calling out to his son. But still, Vishnudutas came to protect him. So whatever I have told, the summary is chanting of holy name. There is a beautiful shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Shloka 14, which says, Apanna samsritim goram yannama vivaso granan tata sadhyo vimuccheta yad bibeti swayam bhayam. What is the meaning of this? It says the living being who is entangled in this complicated cycle of birth and death can be freed immediately even if he chants the holy name unconsciously. So last class we discussed that how to improve on our quality of chanting. So do not worry, you can't be perfect from the day one. It's a gradual process, but what is important is to hold on to it. So the summary of all the things what I have spoken now is you have to rise in your seriousness of chanting the holy name. That is the first step to purify your anarthas inside, and then you fix up in this devotional service. I am so pleased looking at your sadhana sheet. Many in the level 2 itself have come to 16 levels. Many are chanting 8 rounds, 9 rounds, and many are in 1 and 2 rounds. Knowing all these things, after this session, listen to this 10 minutes again. The glories of holy name is immense. And that is the only thing which will help us to break free from this cycle of birth and death. So with this, let us now continue our discussion of chapter 2, Shloka 21. So somebody can quickly take up. And as said, at 10 o'clock, I have one more session. I attend another class. So we need to quickly rush through and complete this. And tomorrow we will conclude this chapter. So request you to quickly take up the shloka and the meaning so that we can continue with my explanations further on the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So who is coming first?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read Prabhuji?
Go ahead, Mataji. You just grab it.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, Prabhuji. How can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immeasurable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yes. So here, Krishna started to impart his knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and he's telling, yeah, that soul is indestructible, eternal and unborn. How can you kill? There is a beautiful analogy which Prabhupada gives, that judge who is giving capital punishment to somebody for a murderer, he is not going to get any sins. The judge is not going to get any sins, isn't it? He's just doing his prescribed duty. That is exactly what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. Even in Manu Samhita, it says somebody who has killed a living entity, any other person, he to be given a sentence of death, so that he does not suffer the karmic reaction in his next life. So one should understand, violence in this case is the supreme justice. That is what Krishna is trying to impart Arjuna. The second knowledge we are trying to understand from this is, one will rise above the fear of death. The biggest fear for all of us is fear of death. More than fear of our death of ourselves, we fear the death of our family members or our loved ones, isn't it? So with this knowledge, we understand this body is just temporary. The soul is unborn, eternal. This is the key learning we have to take from this sloka. Somebody can take up next sloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The first point you said, right, about the judgmental thing for the person who has murdered. What is the reason you gave, Prabhuji? I couldn't follow. Can you please repeat it?
Mataji, what I was trying to say is, a judge in a Supreme Court or a High Court who is giving capital punishment to a murderer, he is doing his prescribed duty. So he is not going to get any sin for awarding this capital punishment to this murderer. Right? So Krishna is telling Arjuna to do your prescribed duty. That is first thing. And second point what I try to touch upon is from the Manu Samhita. It says somebody who has killed a person, previously kings used to put such people, they used to hang to death such person who has killed, right? So as per Manu Samhita also it is says that that is the right way. Otherwise the person who has killed, he has to carry forward this karmic reaction to the next life. So somebody is got the capital punishment of death will not carry forward this karmic reaction of he killing another person, is what we are trying to understand, Mataji. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I got it. But
Thank
it will be, his death is early than predicted, right, Prabhuji?
Sorry, Mataji.
He won't have the normal death. It is the punishable death he's getting it.
Yes. So
But
by giving him
that
that
is
punishment, as per Manu Samhita, he need not have to go through this karmic reaction of he killing somebody in his next life.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank
More important point we have to take out of this context is, the judge who is doing his prescribed duty will not get the sin of awarding the capital punishment. Similarly, Arjuna doing his prescribed duty as Kshatriya, he will not get the sinful reaction which Arjuna was fearing not to fight. Yeah, that is the learning we have to take from this sloka. So somebody can take up the next sloka, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read?
Yes, please.
Yes. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani granati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirna niyani samyati navani dehi. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Here, Arjuna being advised not to lament of his grandparents are being killed in this war. In fact, Arjuna should be happy that his grandparents are going to get a new body, new youthful body. Yeah, so no need to lament. And this also confirms that there is rebirth. Many of my friends or many religion, they think that there is only one birth, and many people say there is only one life, enjoy to the fullest. You all might have heard this statement. When I had gone to some outing with my colleagues, and I was not eating non-vegetarian, one of the colleague was telling me, there is only one life, why don't you enjoy, why are you doing all these things? So that is most of the people, that is the mindset of most of the people.
Prabhuji, there is one more dimension. Prabhuji, there is one more dimension where some section of people, they think that once a person is born as a human being, then he will continue to be born as human being.
Yes.
He will not born as a animal or bird. That is also one way of thinking is there.
Exactly, Prabhuji. Exactly. So only in Sanatana Dharma we understand every living entity is a soul. Krishna do not differentiate between a human being or a cat or a dog or a hen. For Krishna, everything, I am the soul giving father of all the living entities, what Krishna says. Yeah. Now coming back to our point of discussion. So one is rebirth. Second is our karmic reactions. When I came into Krishna consciousness, one thought which was always back of my mind was, we are struggling in this life because of our sinful reaction. I can accept that. But a just born baby, how can that differentiation, a baby take birth in a very, very poorest of poor family to a beggar on the street? A baby takes birth to the richest person in the world. Why this differentiation? So this gives us clarity that whatever the way we lived our life, we are going to carry lot of karmic reaction. It could be pious or sinful, but we have to go through all these things. Knowing this, we need to be very careful in all our deeds. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, finally he says, Sarva dharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tam sarva papebhyo moksha shami mashuchaha. Krishna says, you surrender unto me, I will relieve you of all the sinful reactions. Do not fear, do not worry. Krishna is giving us guarantee. So when we look back, we also have lived completely sinful life. There are 4 regulative principles. I'm sure you all know 4 regulative principles. When we look back, some or the other we have broken, isn't it? Krishna is telling, in ignorance we have done it. Now we have come. Now at least when we are leaving, we should try to avoid all those sinful activities and fix up in Krishna consciousness, so that we break free from this cycle of birth and death, or falling down to the greatest danger, the darkest region of hell, hellish planets. Rather, we should rise and we have to go back to Krishna. The next sloka. Somebody can read, please.
I'll read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Nainan chindanti shastrani, nainan dahati pavakaha, na chainan kledayantyapto, na shoshayati marutaha.
Yeah. So here, the qualities of soul being discussed. Soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor be burned by fire, or moistened by the water, or withered by the wind. Who is the soul? We are the soul. We are thinking we are this body. We are eternal, and the purpose is to serve the Supreme Lord. We have embodied in this body and entangled within this body and trying to live a life to satisfy this body than satisfy the senses of Krishna. Satisfying our own senses than satisfying the supreme pleasure giver of the senses, the Govinda, Rishikesha, master of senses. Next sloka. Hare Krishna. Somebody can try.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
अच्छेद्यो यम अच्योदे यमदायोऽहम् अक्लेद्यो शोष एव च नित्यः सर्वगतस्थाणोर् अलोचलम् अचलोऽयं सनातनः.
Thank you, Prabhu. So it is said that soul is invincible, indestructible. What makes it so strong? Yeah, there is different qualities is been mentioned of soul here. It is unbreakable, insoluble, neither burned nor dried, everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, eternally the same. There is no change for this soul, like our body. Next sloka. Hare Krishna. So as said, kindly come forward and take up. Do not worry about the pronunciation or meter. Participation is more important. Please take up.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
अव्यक्तोऽयमचिन्त्योऽयम् अविकार्योऽयमुच्यते तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं नानुशोचितुमर्हसि. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So the soul, again the same quality is being mentioned. Soul is invincible, immutable and inconceivable. One cannot see the soul even with the most powerful microscope. Therefore it is said as invincible, invisible. And because of this, many modern science or scientists say there is no soul. That is purely by their ignorance. How do we understand about the soul? Not by our material calculation or our speculations. We have to go by Sadhu, Shastra and Guru, what we get from them. It's a beautiful analogy. Prabhupada says, who can tell who is my real father? One person who can tell who is my real father. Who is that person? Hare Krishna.
It is the real father is Krishna, Prabhu.
No, in our material thing, I'm just asking as an analogy, as an example.
The mother, Prabhuji.
Yes. So the only mother can tell who is my real father, isn't it? Similarly, Vedas is considered as our real mother who tells who is our real father. So as Prabhu said, our real father, the supreme father of all the living entities, Krishna. And who can tell this is Vedas. Other day I was having a discussion with a software engineer. She's a data analytic engineer. She was asking me a question that you say so much about Bhagavad Gita and other things. What is the guarantee? Who has seen this? Yeah. Such question will come to us as well, isn't it? I asked her a simple question. What is she coming from an engineering background. I asked her, what is the formula for A plus B the whole square? Does anybody know what is the formula of A plus B the whole square? I'm sure many engineers.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
It is A square plus B square plus 2AB.
Yeah, instantly this Mataji gave me A square plus B square plus 2AB. I asked her, why not it is A square plus B square plus 4AB? She has no answer for this. That is how we are learning in modern education. Whatever we are given, we are just blindly following it, isn't it? How many of them tried to do analysis of that? One more example I would like to give you. We book Ola or Uber, right? How many times we have checked the driving license of a driver? We are sitting in his car, he is going to drive. We are giving our life in his hands. We have never questioned. But when it comes to scriptures, when it comes to knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, everybody want to question. So why don't we give, you are all great, fortunate souls, you have taken up this very seriously. Even for the atheist, why don't you give benefit of doubt what is being taught in Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, which is true for more than 5,000 years? The modern science is relative. One scientist says something, after 50 years, one more scientist will come, he says, no, there is an deficiency in that, and this is a new formula. And then another person comes with another new formula, and it is continuously changing, isn't it? Vedas, the knowledge what we are getting through scriptures, it is as same. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita when Krishna gave 5,000 years back to Arjuna is same, applicable then, applicable today, and is going to be applicable eternally. So we need to first have the conviction ourselves what we are getting is absolute truth, and follow that judiciously than putting our mental speculation into this. Whatever I am speaking, it is not my words. I am just following what I have read from Srila Prabhupada books, what I heard from my Shiksha Gurus, I am just passing on. That is how it is coming. When Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita as it is as it is coming from Krishna through Guru Parampara to us, and it will continue. And further, the soul, eternal, the qualities, characteristics have been discussed here. We will move further. So let us quickly move further now. Somebody can take up this sloka. Hare Krishna. Somebody who has not tried so far, please take up. Antachainam nityajatam nityam va manase mritam tatapi tvam mahabaho nainam shochitam arhasi. Somebody who has not participated, please read the English translation.
Prabhuji, can I try?
Please, Prabhu, everybody should try in our class.
If, however, you think that this
you
soul,
think that the soul, in
or
brackets, the symptoms of life, will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed Arjuna.
Yes, this again is a very important sloka for all of us. Krishna is telling Arjuna, even if you don't believe there is soul, it is just a body, still don't lament. Why? As per modern science, we are all mix of chemicals, right? We discussed hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus. If we take our body and put it into as chemical, this will cost you only 250 rupees. Now, the point to think about is somebody traveling in a 50 lakh car and met with an accident and he leaves his body. The family member bother about this 250 rupees chemical or 50 lakh car. Naturally, they will feel for the person who left, isn't? Why? Because there was a consciousness. It is a soul which has left. Again, why I brought this point is to re-emphasize that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. Let us move further to the next sloka. I have to take this call. Just a second. Meanwhile, somebody can read.
One who has taken this birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the discharge of your duty, you should not lament.
Hare Krishna reports, please kindly fill the attendance form.
Yeah. So the sloka 27, it says, after million of birth, we take this human form. After all the transmigration, we are getting this human form. We need to understand the seriousness of this. But unfortunately, the Kali Yuga, the forces of Kali is so strong, the people continue to fall down, trying to enjoy their senses with the material attachments. They continue to fall down and entangle in this vicious cycle of birth and death. Having come to this platform, as I've said, we need to rise in our seriousness and sincerity in our service. And all the process, we have to very firmly fix up to this process and move further. And the battle of Kurukshetra, being the supreme will of the Lord, fighting is the right cause. And Arjuna being the Kshatriya, it is the right cause for him to fight. And he's telling why you should be afraid of death of your relatives. You are not breaking any law. You are just following the prescribed duty, is what Krishna is telling. Here, as a Kshatriya, not fighting is sinful. He will fall down from his position. So rather, you have to rise and fight, is what Krishna is telling. The next sloka.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what need is there for lamentation?
Yes. So that is what Arjuna is telling. No need to lament for the loss of the body. We are spirit soul. This again is a very important sloka. When we look at soul, the beauty of this soul is even in an atomic small worm or a gigantic tree or an elephant, the soul, the size of the soul is same. Many look at soul as is amazing. Many hear about soul as amazing. Many describe soul as amazing because of all the qualities we already discussed. But unfortunately, even after hearing all these things, many will never be able to understand that we are the soul, not this body, and continue to lament for their bodily conditions. The next sloka. Somebody can read this. When not talking, kindly mute. There is some echo coming out. So somebody can quickly take up. The two important analogies we have already discussed.
Or you need not grieve for any living being.
Yes. So the two analogy we already discussed, that is, one is judge awarding the capital punishment. Second, a surgeon trying to perform operation, cut through the body. He's trying to save the life, isn't it? And in the process, somebody leave the body, he will not have the sinful reaction of that, because both are doing their prescribed duties. And some more, all the characteristics what we discussed about the soul is further summarized here. It is eternal, no change, indestructible, imperishable, and the list goes on. What we need to take away from this is we need not have to lament for our bodily condition, because we are not this body. We are the spirit soul. Now we are quickly moving to the next section C. This talks about Karma Kanda section. In Karma Kanda section, we need to understand, most of us are in Karma Kanda section. We are all doing some or the other rituals. Why we are doing rituals? Not for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, for our own pleasures. What is that known as? In next chapter, we are going to talk about Karma Yoga. Here, this is Karma Bhoga. when we are doing some actions and trying to enjoy the results of those actions, that is known as karma bhoga. Previously, I used to visit lot of temple and I used to treat temple as shopping complex. I used to go to the deities with big list of my demands. I have these bodily issues. I have a problem with my wife. I have a problem with my son. I have a problem with my office. I need a big car. I need a bigger house. I need a promotion. I used to treat as a shopping complex going to an extent, home deliver everything before I reach home. Krishna, in return, I will give you this. It's a business transaction. So that is karma kanda. That is sakama karma. Having some kind of expectation from that services. So next shloka somebody can take up, please. Hare Krishna.
Should I read?
Please, Mataji.
Swadharmam api chaveksha navikampitum arhasi dharmya yuddha cheyonyatu kshatriyasya na vidyate. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So English translation also you can read, Mataji, top right side.
Okay, consider your specific duty as a Kshatriya. You should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. One of the problem with all of us is we want to be perfect. A baby, when it is born, from the birth, it is not going to run. It is going to fall down many times. So these opportunities, when it is given, it is for our own purification, one thing. Second, our own improvement. We all have to pass on this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to as many conditioned soul as possible. And this is the place for you to prepare. One who sweat more in the practice will bleed less in the war. So take this opportunity. Yeah, do not worry. Moving on to our discussion, the Kshatriya, the duty is to fight, give good administration. The meaning of Kshatriya, Kshat means hurt. Triya, one who protects the other person from hurt, is Kshatriya. Similarly, Brahmana. Brahmana is expected to give the knowledge of Shastras. Sometimes the Brahmanas are engaged in the rituals which includes the sacrifice of animals in the sacrificial fire. It means that the animal which is being killed in sacrificial fire will get a human birth so that it can continue its spiritual journey, and Brahmana will also get higher planets, heavenly planets. But it does not give anybody license to open slaughterhouse in every nook and corner of the city and town and kill animals. Moving further, next sloka. Hare Krishna. English translation somebody has to take up who has not participated yet.
Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets.
Yes. So Arjuna was fearing of the sinful reaction of killing is purely because of his ignorance. The duty of Kshatriya, as we discussed, is to fight. And in the process, there is no sinful reaction. Arjuna had no reason to refrain from fighting. And he says, Krishna says, if we conquer enemies, he will enjoy the kingdom. or if he die in the battle, he will be elevated to the heavenly planet. So both ways Arjuna is going to be benefited. So here from the Karma Kanda section, Krishna is trying to encourage, motivate Arjuna. So next sloka, somebody can read through English translation.
If you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter.
Yes. So here, Arjuna is known for a great fighter. He has once fought with Lord Shiva and he has defeated. As Shiva got pleased, he rewarded Pashupatastra to Arjuna. Such a great fighter. If he is run away from this battle, he will lose his reputation, is what Arjuna, Krishna is trying to say. Next sloka.
People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, this honor is worse than death.
So here Krishna is giving a final judgment on the queries raised by Arjuna, and Krishna is telling, both as a friend and a philosopher, I give you my final judgment that you have to fight. You better die in the battle as a respectable man, or else ill fame is worse than death for a Kshatriya, is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. So next sloka. We have a couple of minutes, try to cover as many as possible. Please take up.
Hare Krishna. The greatest generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant.
Yes. So here Krishna is telling, don't think that your opposition, Duryodhana, Karna and other great warriors in the opposition side is going to think that you are such a nice saintly person, so compassionate, you are leaving this. No. They are going to think that you got frightened by the great warriors in the Kauravas army and you are running away from this battle. So with this, let us try to end our session. Actually, I was planning to cover at least another 10 more sloka. 10 o'clock, I have one more session. Yes, Prabhu, I'll just give a couple of minutes. So as I was telling, we will end. I am taking extra time through this session. I'm not rushing through, because some of the philosophies we are discussing and we discussed today is very, very important for us to meditate on and try to live our life through those knowledge what we have got through the Guru as well as Shastras. So I'm just trying to take that extra time to give you that strong foundation of Krishna consciousness, and as we progress, we will speed up. Yes, Praveen Prabhu, you want to share something?
Yes, Prabhu. I have a quick question, Prabhu.
Yes.
See here, actually, what Krishna is saying to Arjuna is, you will have to fight as it is your prescribed duty. Okay, but why you should fight? Also, Krishna is saying that because others will, defame you, which is against your reputation.
Yes.
Now, on the contrary, if you look at it, Prabhu, so the reference is being given to as a public. It's more of a name and fame. Somewhere indirectly it is referring to, right?
Yes.
So Krishna also says in the other shlokas, one should not get attached to the materialistic designations, whether name, fame, and all those things. So how do you see this, Prabhu?
So excellent question brought down by Praveen Prabhu. Yeah. So what we need to understand, we are gradually rising. Yeah. There is a yoga ladder. We are now talking about Karma Kanda section. Yeah. Karma Kanda section is having some material benefits, name, fame, and other things. So Arjuna is in that level. So to that level, Krishna is giving this motivation that fight. Even if you die, you will go to the heavenly planet, or when you are there, you can enjoy the kingdom. Because Arjuna is at that level. Next level, as we progress in chapter 3, chapter 4, we are going to talk about Nishkama Karma Yoga. And first is Sakama Karma Yoga. We have expectation of some material things, and then we gradually rise above, where we are going to surrender all the fruits. Krishna is going to say that you surrender all the fruits to Krishna and you do not expect anything. And further, when we rise above, we get to Bhakti Yoga section. So gradually we will progress, Prabhuji. Very nice question you brought at this stage. Once we progress, we need to fight without any expectation, but we are progressing. As we said, we are in pre-nursery. We are giving what that kid can able to understand at that level. That is the position of Arjuna now. Hope this answer your question, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay, sure, Prabhu, sure. So basically, if I understand correctly, so Krishna is understanding the Arjuna's position and thinking, and accordingly he is giving the guidance step by step.
Exactly, Prabhu.
Okay. Prabhu, follow-up question, can I?
Prabhuji, I have an exam coming up at 10 o'clock. I have to go there. Tomorrow evening we can connect again for a detailed question and answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you please text me one-on-one. We can discuss. We can take that question, and tomorrow evening we can discuss further.
Sure, Prabhu, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing up a very important question. So thank you very much to all the assembled devotees. Vancha kalpata rubasya cha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.